Well, hey there, wow friends. Welcome to your practice today. I've got a good one. It's all things planking. So we think of plank in a yoga class and a vinyasa class. It's a key pose for the vinyasa linking transition. It's the one that we sometimes call top of a push-up. Today we're going to explore it on our hands, on our forearms, and working side to side. And we're going to experience some holds in plank, but I'm going to invite you to find and recruit new places of support so it can feel actually quite easeful. And we're going to really start to explore the support and capacity and buoyancy of our lungs, so we can invite postural support from the buoyancy of our lungs, which will then inform the frame of the bones of our shoulder girdle, which will invite a greater structure of support and a clear transfer of weight down to earth and back up. And when we start to cue into and feel into those places, the muscles don't have to work so hard. You know, oftentimes we come into these quite strong poses and we really grip with the muscles, and that's when we start to feel a bit frustrated and we go red in the face and we lose the connection to our breath and we lose the yoga. You know, I get it sometimes in life, it's our pattern, we just muscle on through whatever is there. If we can start to find postural support and the transferring, the clear pathway of weight in our bones, the muscles that may have previously been trying to do the job of those two things. We know it's not the muscle's job to transfer weight, but sometimes they try and get involved because we're lacking the awareness. So when they can have the space and opportunity just to do what their job is, to articulate the bones and invite movement and give us shape, I promise there'll be times in your plank that will feel more easeful. So let's give that a go. Get yourself set, nice clear space. You don't need any props, you don't need a mat. You could do this at the end of the sun salutation series that I offered last week, or as just a nice little reset in your exercise routine, or even just sitting at your desk or at the end of your day. Okay, so let's get started. Okay, so first, before we go on into the actual shape, we're going to start to explore these two great buoyant places of support, which is our right lung and our left lung. I often think of the lungs like water wings. You know, like if you have an inflatable raft, and the water wings raft type quality where there's that rebounding buoyancy and lightness. That's the quality, the feeling quality we're going for. And oftentimes when we move through life with a very unconscious, top of lung, shallow breath, we lose that fullness, that buoyancy, and that lightness that our lungs can offer us. So what I'm going to get you to do is to raise your right arm. Now I'm not going to be mirroring you, I'm going to be doing the right side as well. To raise your right arm and place it on the top of your head. Take your left hand and move your left hand to wrap around your lower your lower ribs. More at the front, and then the fingertips just glide around to the side. So right down where you can feel the bony structure of your ribs, right down low there, the floating ribs. And you're going to start to receive your breath into the space underneath your left hand, which may be tricky if you're used to breathing up to the top, inviting your breath to move down. It requires a little bit of stretching out of the breath to deepen and lengthen, to stretch out any tension there. Keep working with it. Perhaps first just imagining the breath moving down there until it's your experience. And we grow into it by doing. Keep exploring the capacity to breathe there, right down underneath your lower ribs. And our lungs have 3 lobes. We're starting to breathe down into the lowest lobe of your right lung. Good, one more breath like that. Nicely done. Then you're going to move your left hand up, around to underneath your armpit, and if you can, reaching more around towards the back. And breathe into where your left hand now is. Starting to sense a real broadening quality, breathing laterally out to the side, and then also into the back, into the space behind you. Notice you're not trying to pull the breath in with muscles up around the top of your shoulders and your neck. That's something different. And one more breath into the mid-lobe of your right lung. And then lower your right arm down, and you're going to place your left hand right up. You've got the bony ridge of your collarbone, then you've got the meat of your traps. You can place your fingertips right in between that space and slightly over the top, so where the tissues are, the meat is there. And receive your breath into that space, right into the upper lobe of your right lung. Notice it's not this section, but there is a real uplifting quality to it. And one more inhale. A long, steady exhale. And then release your left hand down. You can even explore a little bit of movement, inhaling your arms up or exhaling your arms down. Seeing if the right side feels a little bit different to the left. Now you have this felt sense of how big your right lung is. Is it bigger than you thought, perhaps? All the way down, all the way broad and behind, all the way up. Like a big inflatable life jacket or life vest there on the right side. So let's investigate that now on the left. So left hand on top of your head. Bring your right hand down to your lower ribs and breathe there. Again, imagining it if you feel that there's struggle to receive the breath there. And with that imagination, with that attention, inviting cellular awareness to what's there will slowly start to awaken and start to buzz with energy to come online. And I really sense that the lower lobes of the lungs have this anchoring quality. And I often imagine the lower lobe inflating all the way down my legs when I'm in standing poses or balancing poses, when I'm in something like plank, where I really want to resource the support of my legs. Because it's not just about the strength in the arms in something like plank or when you're balancing in something like handstand. And now up around to the mid-lobe. And this one particularly, it goes really wide and really big and broad in the back. So if you can sneak your fingertips around to the back and having the palm of your hand just under your armpit there. And find that lateral expansion and the breadth in the back. Like the back of your lung is this big billowing cape. There. Wonderful. Release your left hand down. Lightly place. So I'm just going to be careful of the microphone here so you can still hear me. Lightly place. Palm of the hand across the bony ridge, the collarbone, really tapping into that little depression there between the collarbone and the meaty tissue. Really dropping your breath into that place. an uplifting, almost levitating type quality there. Keeping the jaw soft, the eyes wide and soft, the neck soft. It's really about resourcing the support into the full capacity of the lungs. And then release your right arm down. You might start to integrate that into movement on the left side. Both sides. It could be whatever you want. You could explore sun salutation, exploring the lower mid and upper lobes, really finding the connection in the back just as much as the front. It could be on your hands and knees, it could be in down dog. But I do suggest take a minute or so to explore these reservoirs of support and see how much you can really expand, get big and bright and full to really pulse into the boundary of your skin. So it is like you're taking up more space from the volume of your inner space. And then I'll meet you back here. You can pause me. I'll meet you back here in a minute or so. Have fun playing. Okay, welcome back. Now we've got that sense of support and buoyancy and lightness. We're going to translate that into our exploration into plank. And actually, before we go there, let's do this. Extend your hands out in front of you. Look at your hands. Look at the length and streaming energy through your fingers to radiate into every fingertip. And I want you to map that breath and spread and expanse all the way through the core lines of your arms, all the way into the back of your shoulders where your shoulder blades are, a triangle shape. So if you imagine how your arms grew from your shoulder blades, unfurling through the core lines of the arms out into the hands. So we can map a really clear line of communication, and for bony structure support, shoulder blade to hand. And oftentimes we're so busy reaching out that we lose that connection back into center. So spreading through every fingertip, I want you to draw lines, pathways from every finger all the way in, up through the bones, into the collarbones, around the top of your shoulders, and into the shoulder blades. And then once you find the shoulder blades nicely nestling on the back of the ribs, from there, extend out through your arms. So it's not that. Draw in, connect in, plug in, and from that place of support, extend out. And then you can really fill up that bony structure. Collarbone, head of the humerus, scapular shoulder blade, all the way down the arms with the fullness of your breath, with the supportive, buoyant capacity of your lungs. You really expand that bony structure. Good. You could be here. And then all we're going to do is translate that into all fours onto your hands and knees. Now notice if you place your hands too close together, we start to close in around the front. So you want just enough breadth to find that quality of widening around the front and the back of the shoulder girdle. So the two shoulder heads really widen and broaden, so there can be clear lines all the way up and down. So a good rough measure is your hands outer shoulder width apart. If you were to drop a plumb line from your outer shoulder, it would come to the center of your wrist crease. And looking how you place your hands on the floor into earth, find that same spread and extension. So the skin of the palm of your hand softens and spreads and meets earth. It spreads through the fingers, every fingertip connected, plugged in. And from that stimuli of your fingertips connecting to the floor, to the earth, draw lines all the way up from every finger, up through the core lines of your arms, to plug into your shoulder blades. I often get an action of dropping my chest down to the floor so I can feel where my shoulder blades are in space. You can dip and press to feel your shoulder blades moving and sliding and gliding on the back of your ribs. With every finger you connect in there, and from that connection from your shoulder blades, broaden and extend down through your arms. Fill up underneath your shoulder blades, fill into your side ribs, fill up the front of your chest, and slightly turn your chest over the top of your mat, so slightly shining it forwards. It's not that we shrug up and the shoulder blades come together and we collapse through the belly. So you can play with the extremes there, slightly gliding the top of the sternum forwards, so you can really sense that breath around the top of your shoulder blades, your collarbones right to the edges of your shoulders. Good. Now you've got that nice and stable and full. I want you to play with the lower end of it. Oftentimes we really grip and harden, we scrunch around the glutes, we permaflex, we really tighten the pelvic floor. We can't get the support of the lower lobes of the lungs to get that buoyancy, that levity into the legs. So as you play with flicking your tail up and down, see if you can find a nice magical middle, where the tail will lengthen straight back behind you, and in that action, a gentle gathering of support around your waistline. Notice it's not that. We want to honor the natural curves of the spine, and there'll be a natural lordotic curve there in your lower back, different to collapsing. So you can play with tuning into that. You get the length through the tail and gentle cinching in around the waistline. It's like you've got a Victorian corset on and you've tightened it about 10 or 20%. So you can still find a flow of breath down into the belly and start to lengthen one leg back and then the other leg back. And if you get there and it's too much for you, you can always lower one knee down or both knees down. And this is your practice for you. And we're making the exploration about the lungs more so than getting plank. And then you can have a little look. If you're sagging or you're lifting too much, start to titrate it so you can see. You can have a little look and see where the balance is. And you can find the extension down through the tail, down through the legs, and really imagine those lower lobes of your lungs that go all the way down into the lower ribs, inflating, particularly your thighs, front, side, and back. And there's a nice lift there. And then the sides, the mid-lobes of your lungs really expand down the arms, fill up the back of the chest, the back of the ribs. And then the upper lobes of your lungs, they start to glide forwards. You see that offers a trajectory of looking forwards and a lengthening through the crown of the head, so we're not hanging our head in despair. Doing this will tell the cells of our body something. We're going to find a nice long line there. We've been here for a while. You're doing well. Let's go for a few more breaths. Good. And come down to your knees and come all the way to your belly. And spend a moment there lying on your belly, stacking your hands and resting your forehead on your hands, just to enjoy a few easeful resting breaths. Feeling the pump, the vitalizing movement of energy circulating all around your body, from the lower lobes all the way down the legs, the mid lobes reaching to the sides and into the back, the upper lobes all the way up through the upper palate of your mouth, the roof of your mouth, all the way through to crown. Now, if you found that quite challenging on the joints of your wrists, do know that by working with the postural support of your organs like your lungs and the structural support of your bones will help take weight out of your wrists, and really resourcing and connecting into center and what we would call core exercises, which you're actually doing without thinking too hard about it, will really help that. But if you are feeling acute pain or inflammation, what we just did, you can always do on your forearms, and we'll come onto our forearms now so you can experience that. You might just want to play with a little bit of wrist therapy. I'll offer a video on wrist therapy, and you can also start to Google as well some key exercises for yourself. And then when you're ready, which what I suggest is now, we're going to come up onto our forearms. Elbows under your shoulders, forearms parallel. Look at your hands, spread through your fingers so you can map those same lines of connection from every fingertip plugging into earth. And there's a buoyant response when you connect there of earth pressing up into you and feeding energy all the way up your arms, collarbones, head of your arm bones, all the way into the back of your shoulder blades, and really broaden and spread your shoulder blades and grow tall through the upper lobes of your lungs, broad through the mid lobes of your lungs, lift into the skin of your back as you inflate the back of your lungs, and start to tuck your toes and lift off your knees to then allow the lower lobes of your lungs to fill down into your legs, into your feet. And again, you can check if you're sagging or you're hitching up. You can play with your tail where it is in space. Find that gentle cinching in around your belly. And from your shoulder blades, as you really lift your breath up underneath your shoulder blades, press down into your forearms. And then slightly turn your chest forwards to look over your thumbs. So you're recruiting all the way around your shoulder girdle. Take another big full breath in. A long breath out. Then roll over to the right. So you come onto your right forearm, and you can keep your feet, so you're stacking your left foot in front of your right. You can stack your legs. Just notice you don't want to sag the hips down. Keep them lifted. Or you can even lower your right leg. So make a choice that feels supportive for you. Keep the hips lifted. Lower, mid, upper. Then reach your left arm up, big breath in. And on your exhale, you're going to start to thread that left arm around behind the back of the right lung. Then inhale, lift, and exhale. Keep the hips lifted. Inhale, and exhale. Again, inhale, and exhale. One more, you've got this. Inhale, and exhale. Then inhale, come back through center. You can be knees on or knees off. Few rounds of breath. I'm choosing to go down to my knees because I don't want to compromise the structures of support that I've been working on. Sometimes it's a tango. You've got to take one step back to take 2 steps forwards. Then rolling over to the left. Outside edge of the left foot, the right foot can be in front or stacked, really keeping the hips lifted, or the left knee down. So I'll show the left knee down variation on this side. Filling up, finding the life vest quality, the life jacket quality of your lungs, front, side and back. Then inhale, reach the right arm up, and exhale and thread. Inhale, reach up. Exhale and thread. I think we did about 6 on the last side, so let's go there. Inhale and exhale. You can always do a few more in your own time. Inhale and exhale. 2 more. Good stuff, yogis. Come back to your forearms. Noticing I'm getting a bit warm as well. Last little bit. Set your forearms, connect in, fill up, get broad and buoyant, knees off if you can. We'll start rocking forward and back, just moving energy through. Go for 20, 19, 18, 17, 16, 15, 14, 13, 12, 11, 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Up onto your hands. Good. Find the set. Fill up. Broaden the skin of your back. Reach through the top lobes of your lungs and go. 20, 19, 18, 17, 16, 15, 14, 13, 12, 11, 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Good. Integrate all of that. And then come down to your knees and swirl it all around. Child's pose through to all fours. Could be cat-cow. Inhaling to lift. Exhaling to round. Is there anything that needs to continue to find movement and opening? You go there. You notice I'm kind of doing a lateral side to side, kind of swimming like a fish from tail to crown. I find that quite nice because we've got a lot into the side body with the side plank and the swell of the breath and the mid-lobes of the lungs. It's often a really tricky area. We hold a lot there. So it's really nice to find movement and a full expression. And then big toes together, knees wide. And settle down into child's pose. If your arms have had enough, you can stack your hands or stack your fists. Enjoy a few rounds of really relaxed breath. But noticing how much more capacity you have in your lungs to breathe and open and resource support for the emergence of you. It's quite wonderful. And place your hands under your shoulders. Inhale. Slowly come up. Circle your arms wide and high from the floating devices, the water wings of your lungs. Big breath in. And exhale. Hands to your heart. Inhale, lift. Exhale, bow. Thank you for being here on this ever-deepening journey with me. Have a wow day, a wow week. You deserve it. Namaste.